years, been a career counselor for going on 12 years now. I'm married, Peer Command sponsored. My wife Angela, who works down the street here on Osan. My son Nathan, and we also have a 21-year-old son who serves in the Air Force. So I got to give love to the Air Force. He's in Texas. I have a beautiful granddaughter named Bella. I'm a family man. You know, if I'm not spending time with my family, it pretty much doesn't interest me. So that's a little bit about myself.
All right. So with the family, you know, behind you, how does that help you to further your career and what you do for a living with retention?
Well, my family is my backbone. Family and faith is everything to me. So with the support of my wife, allows me to give it 100% at my job. Working late hours, deployments, whatever the case is, allows me to give 100% to my job and to the soldiers out there, and to give them what they need to be successful in the military.
Okay, so we're going to get right into why you're here today to tell people about the retention program, and how does that, what kind of information can you give them that will benefit them?
Well, as everyone knows, we're about to enter the new year, the new FY come 1 October. As of right now, there's not a whole lot of new information right now, other than what we call the SMAP program that isn't really brand new. However, there are several soldiers that aren't familiar with it. We have the SMAP program, which is a special MOS alignment program. It's basically a critically skilled MOSs that soldiers are offered, providing they're qualified for. We re-enlist them to go to school, and upon completion of this school, they are promoted to the next rank of either E5 or E6. So that's what the SMAP is. However, for any other information, for any other new information, we do post it. We have a 2nd Combat Aviation Brigade retention page, and we post all new information as it comes out on that page that is run by Staff Sergeant Brungerwood out of K-16. We have also recently released the first 2ID retention newsletter, which was released last week, which contains information such as reenlistment eligibility, options, bonuses, categories, messages, updates, any news, and all career counselors' POCs within the 2ID footprint. So that is also posted on that 2nd Combat Aviation Brigade Facebook page.
Right now, and that was Cheryl Crow with My Favorite Mistake. And if you have retention problems, it might be one of your biggest mistakes as well. But in the studio with me right now is Master Sergeant Gerald Baruman from the 2CAB Retention Office, and he has a couple things that he might want to tell you and that you might want to hear. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, Master Sergeant.
All right, one of the questions was when should a soldier start planning his career, or the time frame to prepare for reenlistment or mapping out his career. It's never too early. The answer to that is day one, once you enter basic training, because everything follows you these days. Everything follows you, and you always want to stand out amongst your peers. You don't want to ever hide in the shadows or hide in the crowds. You want to raise your hand. You want to volunteer, whether it's for a detail, whether it's within the community. Right. You want to take full advantage of any type of civilian or military education. You want to maximize your PT, your weapons qualification. You want to do your best and raise those line scores, because for any somewhat prestigious MOS that you're looking to get, the standard is a 110, is roughly a 110 to get into that MOS. So for those soldiers who have less than a 110, I encourage you to go raise your GT score, because you have soldiers out there who may be fully qualified in accordance to AR 601-280, which is our regulation that we use for Army reenlistment. But even though they're fully qualified, the commander may not deem them quality. And that's the direction that the Army is going to now, because even though that soldier may be fully qualified, they may not be that quality that the Army's looking for, because we're going into a smaller but smarter Army.
Right. So what are some of those key characteristics or stats almost that soldiers need to kind of concentrate on when it comes to like a commander deciding whether or not they should allow this soldier to reenlist?
Well, the commanders evaluate every soldier on what's called a whole person concept. Not every commander has the same whole person concept idea.
Okay.
So it depends on that individual commander.
Right. So pretty much everybody's perspective is subjective.
Absolutely.
Based on what they see or what the good qualities are in the soldier, or in the subordinate.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why that soldier has to stand out from their peers and get that education, volunteer, take advantage of these schools, be a stud in PT, weapons qualification, things of that nature.
So there could be no misunderstanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Well, you got to be well-rounded.
Right. Okay. That's cool. That's good stuff. Okay, so so what do you need to do to reenlist? If not that, then who can reenlist you?
Well, what you need to do to reenlist, of course, a reenlistment window is 15 months out from your reenlistment from your ETS date. That's when you into your reenlistment window. It's 15 months from your ETS date. Now, like I said, you start from day one. In accordance to 601-280, career counselors and commanders have those mandatory scheduled counselings that we must sit soldiers down and talk to them about their careers and certain things. All right. But I highly advise soldiers to seek out counsel prior to that and be proactive. That way they can get a jump start. Don't wait to the last minute, because a lot of soldiers are under the impression that if the longer they wait, that the Army's going to offer them something bigger and better, and that's not the case. So, excuse me. So to answer your question, what soldiers need is they need a passing APFT within the last 9 months. They need a passing height and weight if applicable, a copy of their temporary profile if they're on a current profile, copy of a permanent profile if necessary, not pending any type of punitive action. Have an MREPR code of 10, which means they're fully eligible. Okay, you have soldiers who come in our office quite often asking what this code is on their ERB, and that's what we call an MREPR code. That's stating whether they're fully eligible or not. So you want to make sure that that's a 10.
Where do you see that code on the ERB? Do you know?
It is in the top center of the ERB. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head exactly what block it is. You also want to make sure you haven't exceeded or you're not within 2 years of your retention control point. All right. You need a signed DA form 3340 from your immediate commander, and of course you have to be eligible for immediate discharge. Prior to reenlisting anyone, we discharge them. For anyone who's reenlisted, you see that we give you a certificate of discharge for 1 day prior to your reenlistment. So those are the things you need. And to answer your other question, who can reenlist you? It's any commissioned officer, active, reserve, retired. Whether they're A commissioned officer or a commissioned warrant officer, meaning a W-2 or above.
Okay. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to take a short break, and after these great songs, we're going to come right back with Master Sergeant Baruman, and we'll visit with our last break for this hour. Keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle, serving America's best.
2-2 AHB over at K-16 is by far leading the way. They have done numerous flight reenlistments all throughout the peninsula. And like I mentioned, our 2-cab Facebook retention page earlier, they have done so many cool ideas that you'd actually have to go on and look at the pictures.
You know, that's because they're over there by themselves. That's what it is. They're over at K-16 away from the brigade. That's what it is.
But keep in mind, all these reenlistments they're doing out there, none of the flights are done specifically for the reenlistment ceremony. All these are scheduled flights that the retention office is piggybacking on. So, you know, if other soldiers listening on, whether you're 2-cab or not, if you would like to make that part of your reenlistment ceremony, by all means, contact the 2-cab retention office, and we will do what we can to make that part of your ceremony. You know, and I challenge any other battalion out there to come up with cool and great ideas for those retention ceremonies and share them with everyone. You know, after all, the retention or the reenlistment ceremony is a huge part of the soldier's career. And it's up to us to, try to make that exciting and memorable for the soldiers.
Right. Yeah. So I saw a retirement ceremony, and it was probably like the coolest one I've ever seen. They were scuba diving. Uniform, had the flag down there, had like picture. It was like the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. Especially for a retirement ceremony, which are usually like all humdrum and people crying and hugging and I'm gonna miss you, bro, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But it was like a very cool sight, and just to be a part of it probably would have been super dope. But
yeah, I was actually gonna ask Master Sergeant Baruman, do you have a certain reenlistment ceremony that you've been to in the past that you thought was really cool?
I was stationed at DC, and we've done multiple reenlistment ceremonies at the Lincoln Memorial, at the Pentagon, at Jefferson Memorial, with the Old Guard, with everyone up in the DC area, and they were really cool when I first got there, because it's something like you've never experienced.
Right,
but after you've been there for 3 years, it's kind of redundant. But for young soldiers who have yet to experience it, it's a memory that'll last forever.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Absolutely. So bars to reenlistment, what is one? What is a bar to reenlistment?
A bar to reenlistment is what it basically is. It's an eye opener for a soldier. A bar to reenlistment is a rehabilitative tool that is used by the command when a soldier stumbles and falls. It's when a commander feels that soldier has potential and can overcome it. So what a bar is that commander will sit the soldier down, impose a bar, and every 90 days, that commander will review it and notify that soldier whether they've overcome that bar, whether they're making progress, whether that bar is to remain in place, or whether they are going to initiate separation. Now, after 2 reviews, the commander must initiate separation on that soldier. But keep in mind, it is a rehabilitative tool, and that's what everyone needs to realize, because it is the command giving you a chance.
So once you get that bar lifted, is it just kind of slate wipe clean kind of thing? Or?
Well, once you get that bar lifted, it is showing that you have overcome it. But keep in mind, we talked about quality soldiers. So when your commander's looking at that 3340 that we spoke of earlier, and doing that whole person concept evaluation on you,
They're
deciding
gonna-
whether or not
yeah.
he's going to allow you to re-enlist, that bar may,
Right.
come back up. So it's not saying it's going to prevent you from re-enlisting, but you got to take that into consideration as well. But it is a second chance.
Right.
All right, so we're going to slide right into the weather right now, and it is currently 81 degrees, mostly cloudy, and tonight is going to be about 66 degrees and scattered thunderstorms with a 60% chance of rain this evening, and tomorrow is going to be a 20% chance of rain with a high of 81 and 67, so identical temperatures for tomorrow as well, mostly clear skies Thursday night, and Friday is going to be high in the mid-80s.
Your exchange fuel prices are regular $2.77, premium $3.16, and diesel $2.70.
DoD Community Bank's exchange rate is $1 equals 1,149 won.
All right, there it is. So I just want to thank you, Master Sergeant Baruman, for coming out and sharing all this great information. And hopefully the soldiers that you were talking to picked up some of this information and they can retain it and also be retained in the Army. Like how I put that spin on words. That was pretty cool. I just thought of that.
You're so smart. I don't know where you come up with your.
I appreciate that. I don't know how I do it either sometimes, I just amaze myself.
It's a gift.
But I digress most of the time. So, like I said, I just want to thank you for coming out and sharing that information with us. Hopefully, people can take this information and use it to the best of their ability. And Sergeant Smith, as always, it's always a pleasure.
Always.
Hopefully see you next week and bring somebody else, and we can do a lot of chit-chatting and keep the ball rolling. So with that being said, I'm going to clock out right now for this hour, and we're going to take you to some great music. Got some Imagine Dragons coming at you and some Taylor Swift. So keep it locked right here on AFN The Eagle, serving America's